dead grandmother-in-law's memorial mass early on
Ugh.
Saturday.
Well, that's just making me feel uncomfortable now.
No. She's been dead for like 20 years.
Wow. Okay.
They have this mass like every year. And
I,
every year I try to find a reason not to go.
you know, I Amanda's family does the same thing for her great grandmother, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, me neither. The funniest part is like half the family. It's like a really small church in like Dorchester or wherever the fuck it is. I don't even know. And like half the family just stays outside of the church and just kind of like hangs out outside and like smokes and just like randomly talks while like the grandfather and a couple family members are inside the church, and then they come out and then they go back to like somebody's house and have like a little get together, and then everybody kind of leaves.
Oh, fun.
It's weird. It's just I don't know. It's whatever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You okay over there?
Yeah, I cracked like every single finger just now. And it felt very good, but at the same time not.
Hate that. It's worse when you crack your back and you're like, okay, that kind of felt good, but that hurt a lot.
Have you ever cracked your back and it felt really good, but then you come back to regular position and it like re-cracks and doesn't feel good at all?
No.
No. Well, how do you crack your back?
I usually put both my hands in like a wide push-up position up against something, and then just like go down into a push-up position, cracking my back.
No, okay.
So I grab
Yeah,
the other side of the chair.
yeah, that's what I do. I do the twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, see the twist, I could never get it to work. So
See, I like it if you do it up against like a door frame or something, you can actually get a couple of different angles, so you can hit upper, middle, and lower back. It's nice.
oh hey, new Windows updates. Fuck
Oh,
you.
yay.
You're not doing anything for a couple hours. Oh man.
I need to get this back up and running. So has everyone had a week?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
You could call it that.
Right.
Yeah. How you doing, John?
Hanging in.
Yeah. Fun times.
Yep. Is your dad still in the hospital or is he home?
He's in rehab now. He's
Oh,
gonna
okay.
be in rehab for like a month. They actually brought him back to the hospital today, this afternoon, which is just fucking hilarious. Because one of the doctors was at the rehab was like, "Oh, your leg's kind of swollen. I don't really like the look of it, so we're gonna drive you by ambulance like an hour and a half back to the hospital that you were in,
Jesus.
and we're gonna have you sit in like the emergency room in just like a room
Jesus.
with my mother for like I was at work during this whole thing, and
Yeah.
so basically the two of them just sat in like an ER room and just sat there for like a half an hour waiting for the surgical team. The surgical team came in, talked to them for maybe 10 minutes, and they were like, all right, we're going to rewrap it up and we're going to send you back to the rehab.
Jesus Christ.
So then, and then he's going to have to go back in on Tuesday so that they can do surgery on his leg again and pull out some more like infected tissue and dead tissue and shit like that out of his leg,
Oh, fun.
and then send him back to rehab. So
Unbelievable.
yeah, I'm like, can't they go to like a closer hospital? And they're like, no,
Right.
they want the same surgical team because they know what it looks like. I'm like, yeah, I was there when they put him through tremendous pain to take pictures of the wound so that
Right.
everybody knows what it looks like. Why the fuck are we going back there? There's a hospital, no life, 5 minutes up the street from rehab. What the shit? So, but yeah. So that's pretty much that. So,
That's crazy.
yeah. So, But yeah, you know, life happens.
Yeah.
I've been sitting here like reading my notes, trying to remember what the fuck happened last time.
Yeah.
And the last thing I remember is like green lights from like a pole. I don't know.
I don't remember that, but I know we killed some orcs.
There were like shadow orcs that we killed, and then there was like
Not just regular orcs.
oh well, they were on the shadow plane, so I just kind of assumed like, but they were I don't know. We went to some like pole with like a dude hanging from it or something, and then like a guy walked up and got like shot up in the air as like a green flare.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like the last thing I remember.
Well, the last note that I had was that we killed the orcs and then we found a swamp.
Oh yeah, and we had to
We
decide if we were
continued
gonna
on.
walk
Yeah.
around the swamp or not. And
Yep.
Leo.
I'm working off of a different computer, so I have none of my notes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I actually emailed myself the notepad doc to the laptop that I was working on off of in the hospital, and then I just emailed it back. But I totally remember the swamp now because we followed the corpses, like the zombie thing, whatever the fuck they were. We like backtracked them, and then Leo almost killed Dorian.
He did.
I don't remember that.
Neither do I.
Well, I never actually let the arrow loose, but I totally
Oh.
had an arrow train on the back of his head.
Oh yeah, that's totally almost killing anything. Yeah, I didn't shoot that deer, but I had the arrow drawn, so I almost killed it.
You'd be. It's kind of like putting a pistol up against somebody's head. You could say you almost killed them because like you had the opportunity.
No, I'm pretty sure almost killing
capability.
something requires an actual attempt at killing them.
Agreed.
Like if you had shot someone in the head and they survived, yeah, you almost killed them.
Yeah.
Well, the night's still young.
And you're so
True.
beautiful.
B flat.
Nice.
Yeah. Kelly's trying to convince me to dress up like Blinken.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
For like Halloween some, yeah. Possibly this year. I don't know.
You'd have to grow your hair out again.
Yeah. I told her she should dress up like a naked statue with no arms. So I can be like constantly feeling her up.
Are you drunk already?
No, dude, I am stoned. I'm like
You're
almost
stoned.
sober.
Oh, okay.
I'm like stone sober right now. I've only had like 17 waters.
I'm gonna let that one go.
I had like a beer with dinner.
God damn it.
Anything.
I'm drinking a fantastic Blue Moon Harvest Pumpkin Ale.
Very nice.
I did not know Blue Moon did the pumpkin. Nice.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty tasty.
He had last week the Traveler Jack-o'-lantern Shandy, which is amazing. Kelly was the only one who didn't like it. Actually, even Bessie, you liked it, didn't you? Even though you're not a Shandy person.
Yeah, no, I hate shandy, but dude, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's got a really good pumpkin, but it also has a lot of like cinnamon and nutmeg hit to it.
Yeah, especially
And
the
then-
aftertaste.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and then right at the end, you also get a little bit of lemon from the shandy itself.
And who makes that one?
Traveler.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen that around here.
No. I'm not sure. I don't know where they're out of. I think it might be either Vermont or New Hampshire.
Well, I could buy beer at the Walmart here, or the Walgreens.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a liquor store down here by us, so they might have it up in Tucson, but I haven't seen it around here.
Well, I know that Traveler at least sells at the Walmart up the street from us. It's where I actually originally saw it.
Oh. Cool.
So there's a possibility.
No, ours has pretty basic stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I was able to pick up that Iron Maiden beer, but I had to go up to Tucson to go get it.
Oh, wow.
So I don't, and unless I'm going up that way anyway, I just, I'm not getting anything.
Right.
Since we can't get Yuengling, which actually kind of took a turn for the worst when we were back in Jersey. We picked up some beer on the way over to the tattoo parlor, and man, it wasn't as good as I remembered.
Yeah, I had never had it before because it wasn't. Ever since I've been drinking, it hasn't been, at least drinking beer, it hasn't been in Massachusetts. And it finally came back. What, 2 years ago? I can't remember. Yuengling.
That shit is gross.
Yeah, and so
it is now.
Yeah, and I had one. I was like, I've never had it before. People are like making such fucking big hype about it, and no, it's fucking disgusting. It's like Coors Light,
dude. Like their like darkest version was like a watered down Miller Lite. It was gross. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, we used to drink it quite a bit, but then it was good, and we can't get it here, and I switched over to Blue Moon pretty much.
Yeah, I like them. They're good.
Yeah, it's tasty.
Yeah.
They're I don't know if it's the summer seasonal or the spring seasonal. They have a blackberry tart. Oh my god, it's fantastic. Really? Oh, nice. It's great. But you got to buy 47 other beers to go with it because there's like 2 in a 12-pack. So you can't get a 6-pack of it or
that sucks.
Yeah. But I mean the other beers with it are good, but if you just wanted to grab a couple of those, it's a pain in the ass.
Indeed.
Oh gosh.
Oh god, I have to hear Gabby's voice now. Ugh.
I'm sorry, I just showed her a picture of Haley Joel Osment now, and it's wonderful.
He's all fat.
Yeah, there he is.
Really?
He looks like such a Guido meatball asshole.
That's a perfect description, actually.
Yeah, he looks awful.
Like, just looking at the photo has made me giggle 6 times thus far.
Wow.
There, I sent the group the photo. I don't know why, I just find it hysterical.
Click.
Might be the mustache.
What the fuck? He looks like he's auditioning for like Kingpin or something. Wow. The hilarious thing is he has these tiny little beady eyes. Like his entire face is mushed into the center. He has this gigantic head.
Yep.
That's great. What am I looking?
So you know how to really piss off your significant other?
You
go
say anything?
Yes.
Well, yeah, you say anything, yeah. Or you
make fun of say anything?
Yes, with Gabby actually making fun of say anything would get me into trouble.
Kelly is a poster.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow.
Or just tell them that you're coming back on like the 8th of the month, and then actually come back on the 4th.
Yeah, dude, what the hell was up with that?
She
came home like
and she punched me. Well,
and then we made sweet, sweet lovin's.
John, you're not supposed to tell anybody. It was an elaborate plan that I hatched back in February. And,
wow.
Wow, that's dedication.
Well, I mean, I was trying to be dedicated to the "I'm going bald" joke, but then
yeah, that we were all for, and then you just
totally
never did it.
It
all.
failed horribly. Well, I tried. I was telling Gabby that I was losing my hair, and she wouldn't believe me. And then it just got really, really hot, and I just shaved my entire head. So, well, that failed. But yeah, it was
no follow through.
I know, right? I mean, I showed up, I got punched by Gabby, kicked by Gabby, and then made everyone else in my house cry, which was great. I mean, that's exactly what I was going for. Surprise, I'm home a few days early.
Did you mention that you come home until Saturday, but you
I flew in Thursday, and I didn't actually come home until Saturday afternoon.
Why?
Where were you?
I stayed in Boston with my brother. And we just wandered around. Yeah, we went and saw the 30th anniversary of Ghostbusters. And,
Nice.
and had a bunch of beer. Gabby's making faces at me because she's angry. Yeah, I just tried to kick the bulk of the jet lag by getting reasonably inebriated and then passing out for a bunch of hours.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever's clever.
That said, it did not work. And I'm still waking up at 2 a.m. going, oh.
Ah, damn it.
Have you guys ever seen the movie If Looks Could Kill?
If looks.
No.
It's this wicked shitty Richard Greco movie where he's like a high school student on like a French trip and he gets mistaken for some deep cover spy.
Okay.
Good Gabrielle Anwar in it before she went totally anorexic, so that's kind of a plus.
I don't even know who that is.
The Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Three Musketeer movie?
Yep.
The Queen.
Ah, okay.
It's awful, but the link that I just sent you, his father is like, you know what you don't have? And he's like, Dad, is this the no follow-through speech? And he's like, yes, it is. And then he gives him the speech, and he's like, and you know what you don't have? He's like, no follow-through? It just reminded me. Whatever. I'm tired. Fuck you guys.
Well said.
It's a great movie. Whatever. It's got the principal from Kindergarten Cop in it. She's an assassin.
Okay. I'm sold.
She's an assassin who chokes people to death with like this. She has a gold chain around her neck that when she like whips it out, it's actually this like 10-foot long whip, and she like strangles bitches with it. It's awesome. But yeah. I totally recommend that movie. It's one of those awful, like B movies that are amazing, like Krull.
Krull is amazing. I wouldn't consider Krull a B movie.
Okay, are you thinking the Kevin Sorbo movie?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
The one with the glaive.
The one with the glaive. Yeah. It's totally a B science fiction movie.
I have to agree.
Dude, I own it. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies, but it's totally a B science fiction movie. And I am fine with that, because Ken Marshall is the shit. Saddened that I know an actor that my father should know and I should not. Liam Neeson's first movie ever.
Really?
Give it to him.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
God, I am such a nerd.
Yep.
Whatever.
Not bad.
I toned it down. I don't want to deafen you guys. Alright, so last time.
Yeah.
The Shadow Plane.
On Critical Hit? Oh, wrong podcast.
Wow.
We start off every episode with last time, the DM going last time, and everybody joins in with Critical Hit on Critical Hit. And it's corny, and one of the guys purposely mistimes it, so he always kind of exos everybody else.
To say, speaking of last time, I just listened to episode 130, I think, and the fade into Al was fantastic.
Thank you.
I didn't see that coming. When you get the letter from Harmon, and you start reading the letter, it fades out from you and into Al.
Oh.
Essentially reading the letter.
Wait a minute. The first letter that I receive?
I think so. It's after when Shy starts to leave. Yeah.
Ah.
You guys wind up at the temple and you stay with her overnight. You get the letter in the morning.
Okay. All right. I totally need to re-listen to. I need to finish listening to last week's session because I was not in my right frame of mind by the end of last session.
Luckily, you didn't do anything outrageous, so I don't have to put any disclaimers at the front of that one again.
Yeah, no, I was totally like with it.
You were, yeah.
I was with it. I just there's moments that I've been listening to the to like that session that you sent me, and there's a part like an hour and a half into the session, I don't remember. And I'm only like 2 beers in at that point, so it is not the alcohol.
Wow.
I don't have any memory. I was just exhausted.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm totally gonna have to re-listen, especially the end, because next session's gonna be fucking awful.
I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right.
You'll get to meet my new character next session at least,
right?
So that's good.
Hey, me too.
Nice. All right. So last time you guys made your way into away from Svomarana, the Raven Queen's abode, and down into the base of the Shadow Plane, and you begin walking along the Ash Road, and you walked and walked and walked, and realized that was just kind of a giant jumbly maze of roadway. But eventually, after a few days of travel, or at least you think it's a few days, you guys slept a couple of times, because now you have to do that. You have to sleep and eat. So after a while, you guys came to a crossroads, literally. And it was this, giant kind of open area with ramshackle buildings, and in the middle of it was a man on a signpost with a bunch of signs pointing in various directions, but they were unreadable. You did, however, see that there were people, spirits, that would walk up to the man at the crossroad, and after a moment, go up into the sky, and they would go towards the Raven Queen. So you guys, in order to direct yourselves towards Gloomrot, the city, Leo came up with the idea of actually following or reverse following the spirits, figuring that they have to be coming from somewhere, and they seem to be coming from the general direction that you guys need to go. So after you attempted to leave this deserted town, you got ambushed by a handful of orcs that you guys very quickly dispatched. And you continued your way south down the roadways, going by the path of the ghosts. While doing this, after another couple of days or so, you guys eventually came to a large swamp. And you basically had two choices, either one to go around it, and God knows how long that would take, or to go straight through it. And while you still don't know how long it'll take, the spirits seem to be coming through, so that is the most direct path. So that is the one that you guys chose to take. Any questions?
I don't think so.
All right.
Nope.
Alrighty. And also do remember that Marmalek did get his little raven as well.
Huh?
Yes.
You got a raven?
Got a raven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
So right now you are beginning your trek into the swamp, and as I said, this is the air is thick with musk and foul-smelling muck. There is fetid water dripping from these nearly dead trees that just hang with this gray moss. There's this kind of hot haze just lingering over this kind of rotted, infested land, with occasional gas bubbles that are kind of blurching up from the mud that covers the entire ground. And this is at the shallowest, probably about mid-shin for most of you. For Galen, that's probably closer to his knee. And at its deepest, almost coming to probably mid to upper thigh, which for Galen, that is, almost practically shoulder level. So this is very kind of bumpy and slopey, and it is kind of rough goings through this area. But every several minutes or so, you do see another ghost kind of come along your way. So at least you know that you are going in the proper direction, as far as you have discerned.
So it's all completely just swamp. There's no like little hillocks, no sort of dry ground or anything like that.
There are every once in a while. So if you guys want to take a rest, there are small patches of, basically, like you said, like a hillock of land that's kind of covered in moss. That is, it's not dry, but it's drier, and at least it's not mud. So it's something you can stand on or sit down on or anything like that. So occasionally you do have small little respite areas that you can perch up upon.
Okay, Galen complains the entire time.
Nice.
Leo blatantly ignores him the entire time.
It's not to anybody in particular. He's just grumbling more
Right.
to himself than anything else.
Nice. I'm guessing that Leo is probably front of the pack right now.
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and give me a perception check?
It's 11.
All right. So, as you guys are going through, there are occasional breezes that come through and happen to. None of the air really seems to hit you guys. You do feel kind of an occasional movement of air, but it's all just still hot and nasty. So it's not like you get an occasional cooling breeze or anything of that sort. And when a breeze does happen to blow through, all you just hear is kind of the creaking and reeling of these dry, dead trees. So there's no, calming sounds of leaves blowing or anything like that. When a breeze comes through, when the wind does happen to blow, it's just this eerie creaking sound that echoes all around you, basically.
That's a little unsettling.
Slightly. And as you guys are kind of beginning to make your way through, why not go ahead, Leo, go ahead and give me a D4 roll.
3.
3. Hey, not bad. All right. So you guys are kind of right now in a particularly shallowish area. And, there are actually a couple of small areas that rise up above the mud around you, probably within 20 to 40 feet. And as you're going through, another one of these breezes kind of blows, and you hear a creak and a moan from a tree. But then, very quickly following that, you kind of hear this ever-deepening crack sound as one of the trees off to your left, about 30 feet or so through, you see the roots of it just kind of upturn, and the entire thing falls down over.
Is there anything near it, like that pushed it over?
Go ahead and give me another perception check.
Ooh, I like that one. Where are you? 27.
Ooh, not bad. All right. So as you kind of, you watch this and you see it fall over, and you look through, and you just see kind of another jumble of trees. But one thing does kind of catch your eye, is that you see a handful of branches begin to move, almost kind of as if in the breeze, but there's no wind blowing.
A couple of the branches of the tree that fell, or the ones that I can now see, like, around it?
So of a tree around it. And then you see, and you guys have been seeing kind of, little fireflies about here and there. And in this particular instance, you see 2 fireflies kind of light up in this green glow. But then you kind of give it a second look, and you realize they're not actually fireflies. They're these kind of weird green glow coming from the tree itself.
Yeah, I knock an arrow.
All right, and as you do, suddenly this tree rises up, and it kind of gives this sound as it begins to lurch towards you. Go ahead and roll me initiatives.
Yay.
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
I love that sound.
Yeah, whatever. I wasted my 20 on the perception check. All right.
That's ridiculous.
5 for Leo.
Alright.
Where is my... Oh, 4. So 10 for me.
15 for Dorian.
And 20 for Marmalek.
Oh!
Yeah.
Did we just really get 5, 10, 15, 20?
Apparently we did.
That's super creepy.
Slightly. Alright. So, you guys can see, since Leo probably alerted you slightly, or if anything, if he didn't say anything, his actions probably led you to say, "What's going on, Leo?" And so you now see that there's this creature about 30 feet off to your left, and it is this very thick trunked with tree with knotted bark, and you can see that it has these 2 glowing green eyes, and its branches kind of, almost dead and decayed, come to these sharp tips, and it now opens up its maw, and you actually see that there's just jagged bark that creates this weird orifice in the middle. And it begins to charge towards you guys. First up is going to be Marmalek. Surprise, surprise.
Wonderful. So Leo was in the lead.
And I also tell you, too, this thing is probably somewhere between 25 to 30 feet tall.
Awesome. And how close is it at this point?
About 30 feet.
About 30 feet. Okay. I am just going to look around and go, what the hell? And do I know what it is by any chance?
You can go ahead and give me a knowledge nature.
Knowledge.
That should do the trick.
Right, 30.
30. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So you have most definitely heard of these, though not in this odd, slightly morbid, twisted form. But this is almost definitely a treant.
All right.
And I will tell you from your amazing knowledge that they are obviously living trees, basically. Oftentimes they're as guardians of forests or areas. They aren't they're obviously very large, very intimidating. They have fairly good defenses, being trees. However, because they are trees, they have one fairly clear weakness, which would be fire.
Okay. Then Marm will look at everyone else, and then look over to Dorian and be like, "Hey, so it's made of wood. Can you still burst into flames? Because that would be helpful." And that's it.
All right. No movement or anything?
No, I'm pretty much halfway back in the pack at this point, so no.
All right, sounds good. Next up then is Dorian.
Without even looking at Marmalek, I'm just going to say I can do more than that. And rather than drawing my marrow cracker, I'm actually going to hold my hand out towards this wooden thing that's charging at us. And you guys are going to see Dorian's arm burst into flame, but the flame is actually going to start moving rapidly down into the palm of his hand, gathering into a ball of fire, which will then shoot in the form of a ray, and I will be casting Firebolt at this thing.
Nice.
For a 17.
Against its what?
Touch attack.
Yeah, that'll totally hit.
Awesome. So you just see this ray of fire go flying from Dorian's hand for 8 damage.
8. All right. All right. So you see the bolt of fire come through, and it slams into the treant, and you actually see that when it hits, it actually sears the bark, and you see it begin to almost smolder in some areas as the fire lingers for just a little bit before obviously magical fire, so it dissipates. But yes, it definitely is effective. Any movement or anything?
Nope, I'm going to hold my ground.
All right. In that case, we have Galen.
So when the tree stands up or starts moving around, he just kind of balks, and he's just standing there like, what the fuck? And then Marm yells out, and Dorian flames it, and he kind of shrugs, like, well, I guess we can't talk to it. And he kind of, I think I have a couple of different things I want to try, but I'm not sure. How close is Galen right now?
You're probably about 40 feet or so away from it.
So kind of outside of my range at the moment. Does a charge give you extra movement, or is it just your movement and...
It is double movement. But you guys right now are in difficult terrain, and you cannot charge while in difficult terrain, unfortunately.
Okay. All right, well, that's not going to work then.
You could take your double movement to make it to him, but you wouldn't be able to attack.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to do that. So I guess what I'll do is I'll kind of shift over to what I want to use is the Howling Skull aspect of my armor.
Okay.
It says the wearer can choose up to 3 targets plus himself, so I'm assuming 4 people total, or 3 including.
3 including yourself.
Okay, so I guess it doesn't really matter then.
Yeah.
So he'll just kind of step up and kind of look down and kind of rub at the armor a little bit, and you're like, oh, here it goes, and he will.
Well, actually, hold on. Well, real quick, what's the wording on it?
It says, let me find that again. The wearer can choose up to 3 targets plus himself. So
I'd say
like
that
4.
is himself plus. Yeah, so that's 4.
Okay. So he doesn't really worry. I mean, he kind of looks around. He's not really sure, what's exactly going to happen.
Yeah.
But he'll say, so he'll, kind of rub the armor and be like, "Go get him," because he doesn't really know what to say. and the skulls start to glow a little bit. And if you look real close, like all the little skulls, the mouths start to open, and it starts kind of a little low moan at first, and it gets louder and louder as it just kind of like almost like a freight train moving towards the tree, just in a cacophonous chorus of howls.
Nice.
And it will spread out 30 foot, and he needs to make a DC 16 will save.
Whoa! All right. Well, I rolled a 20.
Oh,
so.
you bastard. No. So,
okay.
As the skulls come up then,
yep.
and the thing's eyes, assuming it has eyes, start to widen, and it starts to grin a little bit.
Yeah.
He says, as it starts to howl, he says, "Louder!" And you can, I'm going to use I don't know if it's a fate spin, I'm going to use a moment of chance.
Oh, okay.
And I'll fate spin it. So you can re-roll that d20 and hopefully come up with a much worse result.
And yeah, I rolled a 3.
Nice.
Awesome.
Would you say it was a fort save?
It was a will save.
Will save, which is one of his lower ones. So that is an 11.
All right. So he becomes frightened for 1d4 rounds.
Wow.
You want me to roll or do you want to roll?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
All right. That is a 1. Ugh.
Hey, still 1 round.
Yep.
So let's see, real quick. Frightened creatures flee from the source of its fear as best it can. If unable to flee, it may fight. A frightened creature takes -2 on attack rolls, saving throws, skill checks, and ability checks. Wow, not bad. Not bad at all. All right, anything else?
I think that's it.
All right.
Oh, I will draw my Silver Fang.
Very nice. All right, Leo.
All right, how far away is this thing from me right now?
From you, 30 feet.
30 feet?
It
All right.
hasn't moved yet, so.
All right. Kind of a weird question. Has it taken a turn yet?
No.
All right. So I am. How much water am I sitting in right now?
About a foot.
About a foot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'm totally not going to take a knee. I'm gonna do a rapid shot right
Very
at this
nice.
thing.
All
see
right.
what I can do. First one is 17.
That will miss.
Actually, no, a 15, so even worse. And then my second one is going to be for 15, 20, 24.
That'll hit.
Nice. All right, so this is going to do 7, 11, 15 points of damage.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
Basically, your first arrow you fire and it kind of hits and sticks into the bark, but the head doesn't really penetrate. But your second arrow hits almost the exact same spot, softening the area, and just goes straight through into the treant.
Nice.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. So the treant then looks at you guys, and it kind of lets out this sound, and with the wave of fear that has been cast upon it right now from Galen, it kind of hunkers down into the mud and rips its foot out from the ground, and as mud just sprays everywhere, and it turns and it begins to force its way through the woods, through the swamp, away from you. Just kind of barreling through, pushing trees and brush out of its way as it begins to walk. Marmalek.
Let's see. If it's running away right now, I'm just gonna look over at Dorian again and go, "Good job with the fire." I guess
Galen
it's
says, "What?"
Oh, did you do? I just.
You didn't with the skulls of the screaming? Come on!
I didn't say anything about skulls and screaming. He listened to me.
You fucking guys, I swear. It's just like before we were dead.
Well,
No movement, no nothing.
All right. In that case, Dorian.
well, I appreciate the acknowledgement, Marmalek, but it was a team effort. In the meantime, we should keep moving before it comes back. I'm going to start moving off the way we were heading initially.
Okay. Galen.
He shakes his head. And did the thing move in the direction that we were going to be going, or did it move off in a completely different direction?
No, yeah, it came in from your left, from the east, basically.
Okay.
And it moved off in the west, so it's not close to where you guys want to go.
So I'll sidle up a little bit closer to Dorian and say, "Do you think the thing's going to come back? Like, I mean, it's ran away, but what do you think?"
Its fear seems to have been induced by you. It was prepared to attack us before. I'm sure it will be again.
I guess we should beat feet then. Do you think we could get far enough away? I mean, it's probably not inhibited by the muck here as much as we are.
Well, best to put as much distance as possible so that by the time it gathers itself again, maybe we'll be out of sight and it won't be able to find us.
Well, here's hoping. Can you burn it again? That seemed to do something.
Yes, I can.
Okay, you stay in the back then. And he'll just keep right on walking away.
And I'll shrug and I'm like, well, that's a first, and start following after him.
Nice. All right. Leo.
All right. Leo is gonna kind of watch the tree run away, and then he's gonna actually turn and start following after Dorian, but keeping like a semi-good distance behind him, and constantly like looking off to the east to make sure the tree doesn't come like charging back towards them.
Okay. All right. So
You do care.
I just like trees.
So you guys have pretty much like kind of quickened your pace south to put as much ground between the two of you then?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you do hear slight sounds in the distance of rickety trees and things like that. But it's very kind of intermittent at this point. So it's kind of hard to tell whether or not it's a breeze off in the distance or if it's this creature moving within the wood. Either way, the sounds don't seem to get closer to you. Are there any types of precautions you're going to take, or are you going to go speed over caution at this point?
Well, in my opinion, we were being cautious before, and shit was still rising up to fight us. So we may as well just throw caution to the wind at this point and see if we can just get through as quickly as possible.
I'm gonna keep pace with Dorian, but I'm gonna kind of act as a rear guard, make sure nothing's creeping up behind us.
Okay.
If I'm all the way in the front, at some point I'm gonna realize that, and then kind of like look around and be like, oh, "Fuck that," and then start to slow down so that they catch up, and I can kind of get back in between.
Nice.
His head's gonna be on a swivel, like he's looking up, he's looking down, he's looking in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no fucking way.
Not bad. All right then. So yeah, like I said, this the sound doesn't get closer, and in fact, after a little bit, it actually does dissipate eventually. All right. So you guys are going through, and now at this point, it will be your first night within the swamp. So what is going to be your plan?
Is there anywhere where we're not a foot deep in water?
Yeah, like I said, there are small little hillocks that you guys could rest upon to get yourself out of the mud in the swamp. So
That'd probably be a good idea if we're going to be resting.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is your small little campsite going to look like exactly?
I wouldn't exactly suggest a fire. Probably wouldn't be able to get one started anyway.
Alright,
No,
well,
definitely not with all these dry dead trees around you. That'd be impossible.
Yeah.
With our history, probably.
Right? Exactly. Too much cross breeze.
well, I mean, if we want a fire, I can definitely start one for us, but if not, then, don't worry about it.
Why draw attention to ourselves if we don't need to?
Yeah, well, that's true.
And I'm gonna volunteer for first watch.
Alright. I'll take last watch, whoever wants to do the in between.
I'll take in between, it's fine.
All right. And Marmalek, is he going to be taking a watch at all, or?
Yeah, he'll try to continue reading when he can, because he still has a couple more pages in that book, so he gets that procedure down a little bit better. But other than that, yeah, he'll take a watch whenever necessary.
All right. All right. In that case, first up, Leo, why don't you give me a perception check?
17.
17, not too shabby.
I'm gonna pretty much walk like kind of around our little hill, like almost like in the water,
Mm-hmm.
just to get as much view as I can.
Makes sense. All right. So, as you're, it's probably about an hour or so into your watch, and you're kind of, padding around the small outcropping. When you do begin to hear kind of a pop in sludge of the water, and this, after a few moments, is followed by a rather large creak of a tree, and that is followed by this low, tumbling groan.
Yeah,
that
I'm waking
just
them up.
carries through.
Yeah, they're definitely getting woken up.
And probably within a few moments, off in the distance, you can actually see a somewhat recognizable green glow of these two small, beady green eyes.
After I wake them up, I'm
Mhm.
actually gonna like kind of walk back down the hill and kind of move off probably like 15, 20 feet, kind of staying low in the water, kind of trying to flank it a little bit stealthily.
All right. So in this case, we will go ahead and do this. We'll reinitiate initiative using your original count. The creature right now is probably about, let's say, 50 feet off from you. Marmalek, you are up first.
Okay. So 50 feet, I can see it. Is it the same creature as before?
You are almost positive as it is carrying the recognizable singe marks of Dorian's attack earlier.
All right. Gonna hunker down with the others and go. It's the same thing, Dorian. We're gonna need you again, and Galen, if you want to do your special trick that you were so proud of. I mean, it worked apparently.
Yeah, but I don't know if it'll work again. It might be ready this time.
Well, I guess we can try. But yeah, just be ready. And he's gonna hunker down again and try to be still.
All right. Are you going to try to stay out of sight?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Okay. Alright, initial stealth check of 21.
Wow, nice.
And I'll use, you know what, never mind. I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. In that case, next up, Dorian.
Okay, so I stand up. How far off did you say it was?
50 feet.
50 or 15?
50. 50.
Okay, so this time I'm gonna ready my shield and everything.
Okay.
This time you guys are going to see something a little different coming off of Dorian. Rather than the flames originating on his arm, it's actually just going to build up inside of his hand and actually encapsulate his entire hand. And from there, he's going to actually fling his arm out as if though he's almost pitching a baseball, and you're going to see a ball of fire go flying off towards the treant. For a possible... Wait, I can't crit off of spells, can I?
You can indeed.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 20, so is that a possible max damage, or?
No, we're going double damage on it.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
We crit spells. It happens.
Okay, cool. So then, it's a range, so plus 23 to his touch AC?
Yeah, that totally hits.
So that is 20 points of fire damage.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So this you huck this fireball and you get it right as the treant is basically, it sees you and it sees the fire light up, and now it lets the whole area lit briefly, and it kind of goes. And as it does, you just huck the fireball and it goes right in its mouth and explodes, and you see fire just kind of burst and smoke begin to come, and it goes and it starts beginning to fan its mouth out and everything.
Awesome.
Right. Anything else?
Nope, that's going to be it. I'm holding my ground yet again.
All right, very nice. Galen.
Galen looks up at Dorian with awe in his eyes, and he's like, holy crap! And then he looks to the left, and then he just kind of like disappears. Like I'm assuming the hillock is relatively small, so he kind of looks to the left, and he looks at the water, and he's like, I'm not staying here. So I'm gonna make a stealth check to kind of like get out to the left and see if I could, if it moves in real close, kind of sneak up behind it, or at least be out of sight.
Sure, sounds good. Go ahead.
All right, that is 29.
Holy crap, yeah.
So he winks and then just disappears.
Nice. Leo.
Alright, Leo is okay. Was I able to kind of move away from them?
Yeah. So real
Like
quick, go
stealth
ahead and
in the
give me a stealth check.
Holy shit. 31.
Oh, bastard.
Jesus. I like my new armor.
Do I need to say yes?
Okay. I didn't know if he had like tremor sense or something. I don't know. So, alright, so I'm stealth. How far away is the tree from me at this
50
point?
feet.
50 feet?
Probably from you about 60.
About
So you're
60.
probably on like the back side of it, so you're kind of off on the back and side slightly. So.
Alright, I want to stealthily move. So, am I kind of at like if the creature's attacking from the east, or like I should say, like say the creature's attacking from the north, am I kind of like to the east of it, pretty
Sure.
much? Alright, I want to kind of move closer to it and the party a little bit, so I kind of like split the distance a little bit.
Okay.
But staying stealthed. So half speed, right? I believe.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I move up like 20 feet.
Okay.
And I don't even freaking remember. So can I get one attack off even though I'm moving or no?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. So I am totally chucking one arrow at it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that'll work. You should probably shoot him.
Okay, so
Throw the arrow.
would a 20 hit Galen?
Actually, it will not.
Ooh.
Burn.
After I move 20 feet up, so I'm now like 40-ish feet
Yeah,
away
about,
from it. So will a 19 hit it?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. And I would like to roll another stealth check to remain stealthed.
Sounds good.
Let's see, and with a -10, that sucks. 11.
All right.
Right? Yeah.
All right. So you let loose an arrow, but unfortunately the fire hasn't really created any vulnerable areas, and you kind of just slam into the bark. Meanwhile, now this creature, you see it reach down, and when it does, it reaches into the thick mud and pulls out this rather large rock. And it takes it and just hucks it forward at obviously its most hated enemy right now, which would be the guy throwing fireballs at it. And that is going to be fairly low. That's a 14.
That will miss.
Not even close.
Nope.
So basically, he picks up this rather large rock and throws it, but it lands probably a couple of feet in front of you and just kind of hits the hillock and then rolls down. And when it does that, it now turns, and you see kind of the green of its eyes disappear, and it puts its back to you and begins to move away from you back into the woods.
Like rapidly, or just kind of like shambling off?
As fast as you believe it can. Being in the woods, being a giant tree ant, that doesn't really move all that fast anyway. So, Marmalek.
Yes. I see it running away again. I'm just gonna look at it and then look over at Dorian, and then just go back to reading my book.
Nice. All right. In that case, Dorian.
How far away has it gotten?
Not too far. Probably another 20 feet or so. If that, actually, no, probably only about another 15 feet. So it's 75 feet away. 65, sorry. Math is horrible. 65 feet.
I'm going to ready an action.
Okay.
If I see it turn back around to attack us, I'm going to throw another one of those fireballs at it.
Nice.
But for now, I'm just going to kind of stand there with like my hand engulfed in fire, but at the ready.
Sounds good. All right, Galen.
He's just still chilling in the dark. He's waiting to see whether or not the thing is going to turn around and, like, you know, if it's turning around to pick up another rock, or
Right.
you know, if it's going to charge or whatever. He's ghost.
Nice. Leo.
Leo is staying on a knee, crouched in the water, just holding an arrow, waiting to see if it turns back.
All right, sounds
Not
good.
gonna waste arrows on a fleeing victim.
Indeed. And this thing does, in fact, continue its path into the woods until it, after a few moments, does disappear into the surrounding darkness. And you hear kind of the creak and groan of trees eventually fade off in the distance.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Once I can't hear it anymore, I'm gonna move back towards the group.
I was gonna do the same thing. Just kind of like pop up next to the door and like, hey, you think it's not coming back? Is it gone?
It's hard to say. Who knows if that thing even is aware of what it's actually doing? Something might be controlling it.
Yeah, but it seemed like it chased us, right? I mean, it ran away and then we left, and now it's, you know, why the hell would it come all the way out here?
Oh. Didn't you notice its eyes?
Yeah, I mean, they were creepy. They were like all glowy and stuff, like those souls, right? I mean, like, is it that same kind of green?
Exactly, but that glow faded right before it started to move away.
Well, I will say it didn't. The glow didn't fade. I was trying to express it turning its back to you.
Okay. I thought
So
I thought its eyes like dimmed out and then like started to just walk off.
No.
All right. Well then, rewind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who knows? This is the second time it's attacked us. Something may be controlling it. It may be acting on its own. It may not even know what it's doing. Who knows?
I mean, do you know anything about those things? I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. Could we just be in its territory or whatever? Like, you think it's just pissed because we're here, or?
I've only known one tree that used to get pissed off when people were in its territory, and believe me, it didn't stay a tree for very long.
He just looks at you like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Never mind. For something like this, I don't know. I've never really encountered anything like this before. But we've driven it off twice. It seems to be afraid of either whatever it is you can do with your skulls or whatever I can do with my fire. So I think we have a good enough defense against it that we shouldn't have to worry too much.
Well, I mean, all right. I guess we should probably, sleep as much as we can. It's going to be too hard to travel here at night. So, who's up?
And suddenly you hear, just from like the darkness, I still am. Get some sleep.
You bet. And he curls up like a cat, and he's out.
I rolled a 30 stealth check. I figured most of you guys wouldn't see me.
No, you rolled an 11 stealth check.
The second time.
No, I rolled a new one as I was coming back. Or do I keep the old one?
You keep the old one. They already know. You've already shown where you are. So.
They weren't paying attention.
And Dorian's just going to lay back down and use his shield as a pillow.
Hmm.
Just like the good old days.
All right. Any further precautions you're going to take for the rest of the night, or?
Nah. Well, not on Dorian's part, anyway.
Oh.
And Leo's just going to keep walking around, just perimeter, just making sure nothing moves.
All right.
Marm's still reading.
All right. So your watches go by then. Go ahead.
Real quick, one thing that I do want to do on my watch, though, as I move in to wake up whoever's next up, either Marm or Galen, I want to touch Dorian's shield.
Okay.
And then walk over and touch both Marm and Galen's packs, and then wake up probably Galen for the next watch.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cast Arcane Mark on those 3 items.
What would you? So what exactly does all of that look like?
Nothing that they can see.
Well, they're asleep, but how about for the rest of us?
Well, no, I'm actually going to do an invisible one.
Okay.
It's going to be an invisible Arcane Mark, but if somebody happens to see it, it's going to look like a very rudimentary version of Leo's face.
Okay. So there's probably like a slight glow for a quick moment before nothing.
Correct. Yeah, kind of like it's like it looks like his face, and then it kind of it's almost like glue drying. It just kind of fades to nothing.
You almost like finger draw your face onto the shield.
Yeah, I'm a wicked good painter.
Like an 8-year-old.
Using mud, just this is pretty.
Nice.
I'm good. I draw myself all happy, like. Not really. But yeah, and then I go wake up Galen. I'm like, hey, wake up, time for your watch.
Already?
And we just lost Jesse.
Yay.
What a dick.
Did you see anything? Did anything come back?
No. Nope, I got nothing. Nothing came back, I didn't see anything.
Alright, well, alright, give me a minute.
Yeah, just keep your eyes open. If you hear anything, just wake us up. We need to scare this thing off again.
You got it. And he'll try to, get up and he'll stretch his legs out and stuff, and he'll flip his pack over and sit ostensibly where Leo put his face. Leo will be sitting on that part of the backpack.
All right.
Kind of sitting, hands between his knees, just kind of like looking around. He's not walking. It's only like 10 foot by 10 foot or whatever. So he's like, whatever.
All right. In that case, would you like to give me a perception check then?
I can do that. Let's see. That is a 16.
Nice. All right. So somewhat early into your watch, you are kind of padding around a little bit, and you kind of get this hot breeze that comes through, and you are kind of looking around, and then in the trees, there's kind of this sickly groan from the south. And as you turn your eyes to look now, you see this probably 3 bobbing red lights. They're kind of, fairly high up in the trees, about, probably about 20 or so feet up. And they're kind of swaying side to side and going up and down fairly significantly. And within probably about 8 or so seconds, you kind of see that there's a tree that falls over, and these red lights just kind of march through where that tree was. And you begin to suddenly hear the kind of something very large walking through the mud towards you.
So when I first hear the noise, his head just snaps around real quick. And then as the lights are kind of swaying back and forth, he kind of gets into that motion. He's just kind of like swaying a little bit. And he's looking. He's like, oh, no, shit, no, wait. And then he sidles over and he starts poking Leo. He's like, get up, get up. And then before he even says anything, he starts moving over to the door, and he's like, come on, get up, get up. And then he looks at Marm and Dorian, get up, get up. when they respawn, he's like, he points and then realizes you can't really see, and then he like grabs you and he kind of like moves your head, and he's like, over there, red light, something big. I don't know if it's another one of those trees, but it's like shit is falling over. Do you hear it?
A 20 perception check. Do I hear it?
Oh, now that he's pointed it out to you and everything like that, you can clearly see the lights and you can hear it making its way through the swamp.
All right, and I knock an arrow and like, all right, everybody awake?
Yep.
No, somebody should go wake up Marm.
Marm's actually still sitting reading his book.
Nice.
Oh, and then I look over and I'm like, ugh.
All right. In that case, Marmalek.
Yes.
So this thing is a some fairly good distance away still, probably about 80 feet or so.
Okay. He'll just keep reading for now.
Okay.
I say, what the fuck is wrong in this swamp? Jesus Christ! Everything glows? Everything's like 30 feet tall? What the hell?
Dorian.
Is this the same one as before?
Probably not.
This is something different.
Yeah.
Can I
Different color.
can I tell if it's made of wood or no?
What's your vision?
Regular human.
Then no.
Okay.
Right now, you can only barely pick out the 3 lights in the distance.
All right. Guess I'm strapping on my shield and pulling out Marrow Cracker, but I'm just gonna hold my ground.
All right. Are you gonna wait if it gets closer or not, or?
No, I'll be fine with what I'm doing now.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Galen.
He just kind of sits and waits. He doesn't, in his mad rush to grab all kinds of magical equipment from the Raven Queen, he never grabbed himself another crossbow. So he's like, whatever.
Nice.
And Dorian's not glowing, so he doesn't have to worry about that. So he just like, let's see what happens.
All right. Leo.
Leo is gonna once again kind of move off into like the water a little bit, and like take a knee and get a bead on that target, but not fire as of yet.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
29.
Not bad.
I love this new armor.
So,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Nope, that's about it.
All right, very nice. So then this giant creature begins to trundle its way towards you at a very decent pace. And as it slushes through the mud, let's see, now we have 2 regular humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Galen, dark vision, or low light vision?
I'm not sure. I'd have to grab the book.
Yeah, I'll double check. What are you? You're a gnome. No, a halfling, right?
Halfling, yeah.
Slacker.
And then Marm is dark vision 160. All right. Scrolling. Relations, adventures.
I don't see anything in here about vision.
Nothing. So you're regular as well. Yep. Wow, I thought that halflings had something special. Apparently not, though.
No, we're not that special.
Nope, I guess not. All right. So yeah, in that case, so this creature begins to bound towards you. Eventually, very quickly closing the gap. Not quickly, but for a giant creature walking through the mud, quickly enough.
Marmalek. Yes.
You're up.
Okay. Can I see? Let's see. Can I fully identify what it is?
Yeah, you look at it and it is within your dark vision right now. So you can see that this is a treant as well, another one. This is a different one though. This one seems to be more of a darker, almost black wood. Its mouth is kind of curled slightly. This one seems to be a slightly stouter. So it's a little bit shorter, but much thicker, and it has 3 eyes that are kind of displaced on its frame on its trunk.
Okay. How close did it get to us?
Right now, it's probably about 30 feet away.
30 feet away. Yeah. All right. I'm going to kind of rub my ring a little bit, and then gain total concealment until the end of my next turn.
Nice.
So just kind of hunker down like usual.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Any movement or anything?
No.
All right. In that case, Dorian.
How close is it to me right now?
30 feet.
All right. Going back to the original trick, holding my hand out. Actually, I will put my Marrowcracker away. Holding my hand out and doing Firebolt on him.
Mm-hmm.
For another possible crit.
Oh, Jesus.
How will a 15 against his touch do?
That'll do it.
That unfortunately will only be 16 points of fire damage.
All right. This one, though, does as well find a good spot, and it hits very squarely, kind of in between the eyes and the mouth, and you see a quick burst of flame as it kind of encompasses slightly, and you see some embers glow for moments before dying out.
Was this one pained like the other one?
Yes. I mean, obviously you didn't shoot it in the mouth like you did the last one.
Right.
But yes, it definitely was illed by this.
Sweet.
All right, Galen.
He starts getting a little antsy. And he's kind of like bouncing around a little bit now. Like he's not too sure what to do. He can't shoot it. He can't stab it. Like, should we have done that? I mean, was it coming here? I mean, it's coming here now, right, Dorian? I mean, shit. I mean, you just burn the crap out of it.
It was coming toward us, and this is at least the 3rd time we've been attacked by something like it.
Okay. And he'll step like off to the left a little bit just to give himself some space to maneuver, and he'll ready an attack if it gets close to us.
Very nice. All right, Leo.
How far away is this thing from where I am?
40 feet.
All right. I'm gonna ready
to the side, so.
I'm gonna ready an action.
Okay.
And when it gets to be about 20 feet away from like the rest of the group, I want to rapid shot it.
All right. Is rapid shot a standard action?
It is a thing. Oh, you know what? It's a full attack action.
You cannot ready it.
So I cannot ready it. That is correct. So I am going to ready an action, and when it gets within 20 feet of the group, I am just going to shoot at it.
All right. Speaking of, it does that now. So it begins to bound forward still more now, leaning down slightly and kind of putting its momentum in it as it locks all of its eyes onto Dory and just begins to bound towards you.
So I totally want to shoot it.
Go ahead.
For a possible crit, will a 19 hit?
No.
Damn it. Alright, so just regular damage, which is still... that's ridiculous. 7, 8, 13.
Not bad.
Yeah, no. That's freaking horrendous. And to jump back into stealth, at 20 stealth.
Okay. Galen,
Yes.
you had said that you wanted to ready as well.
Is it close enough for me to do that?
Sure.
All right. He will just kind of slide over a little bit and slash at it with the rapier.
All right.
I rolled a 19, so that's going to be 28.
Totally hits. Isn't
All
a
right.
rapier 19 to 20?
Rapiers
Yes, it
actually
is.
18 to 20.
18 to 20. There we go.
All right.
So possible crit?
Rolled an 8, so that's going to be 17, so that... not gonna do it.
Unfortunately, no. Yeah.
All right, so it's going to be a... Well, so when it hits, what I'm going to do then is... When a wearer hits a creature with a melee attack, she can command the boots to ignite. When the boots ignite, all creatures within a... All creatures.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
let's see.
right now it's just you and the treant.
All right.
Everybody else is at least 20 feet away from it, so.
All right, it's going to take 3d6 damage then.
Whoa.
Oh, Jesus, 2 1s.
Ah.
So that's 6 plus 4 is 10.
What kind of damage is that?
It's fire,
Okay.
but it gets a reflex DC 13 saving throw, but I didn't call which one was the sword. Do you want me to...
What was that? Sorry?
There's 2d6 for the fire, and
Okay.
then 1d6 for the rapier, but I didn't call which one was which. You want me to re-roll, or take a 1 for the rapier, or...
I don't know. What were the 3 that you rolled?
4, a 1, and a 1.
Yeah, we'll just pick one of the ones as the rapier.
Okay, so 5
We'll
points
do-
of damage from the rapier,
All right.
and then 5 points from the fire.
And you said it was a DC 13,
That is correct.
and I rolled a 3, so that's a 6. So he totally fails that.
Awesome. So he'll take 5 points of fire damage.
Nice. And go ahead and what does that look like exactly? I don't know what the effect of the boots is.
So he slides over, and he's already low because the thing is so big, and he just kind of like slashes at the bark, and some of the bark sort of chips off, and he gets kind of excited because he did a little bit of damage. He's like, oh yeah, the boots. So he's like, I should have wrote something down for this before. He thinks like, yeah, the boots they're hot, they're gonna flame, and it kind of channels that energy, and as he completes the slash, the boots just kind of like poof, and like a flash of fire comes out of the boots and kind of like poof, away from him in all directions, and it singes the feet and the stump legs of the tree, and the flame kind of like curls up the leg a little bit and kind of peters out the higher up it gets.
Very nice. All right. So it is the treant continuing its turn now, and now that it has been attacked quite a few times right here, it focuses on the closest person that has done the most recent damage to it, being the small little thing that just bursted into flames that's right next to it. So it's going to take its a few of its branches that you see kind of begin to just slam down onto the ground. And one is going to be for a 22.
It hits, but we're going to use a moment of chance so you can re-roll.
Ooh, all right.
Nice.
So he sees this big branch coming around, and he's like, oh, I could probably get in between there, and kind of like twists a little bit, try to so when the branch comes down, he's standing in between.
And I actually re-rolled to an 18, so that's a 34.
Fuck. So he moves right into an even bigger branch than what would have hit him in the first place.
And let's see. Luckily, I rolled pretty low on a couple of these. Calculator, where are you? Damn
Calculator, what?
I'm trying to add a couple of things together, and it's just not going to happen in my head quickly enough. So let's see, that plus that plus that plus that plus that. All right. So this, it's gonna basically slam a bunch of branches down onto the ground to try to smash into Galen, and one of them is going to kind of almost graze him, but it sends up a giant splash of mud, which unfortunately kind of gets in Galen's face, and he is not able to dodge the rest of the limbs, and they just come cracking down all around him for 35 damage.
Holy crap!
Oh man.
He's way past bloodied. He gets squashed. He gets bent in half. He just yells, "Oh!" He drops Silver Fang. It lands point tip in the back end, just like wong 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 wong. And he just lays in the mud and looks back up at it like, oh.
Oh. All right. Marmalek.
Seeing that happen, Marm will drop the book, and in doing so, he kind of takes his staff from under his arm where it's just kind of been resting, and just having watched Dorian play with fire quite a bit today, he just kind of winds up and swings his bat, so to speak. And this enormous fireball just comes roaring out and basically just engulfs the giant tree ent. So this is the first thing of magic I've ever done.
Okay. What exactly what is the spell that you are?
Fireball from the Staff of Dark Flame.
All right.
Which has a caster level of 8. So then Fireball should be 8d6 of fire damage.
Yeah. And that is so Fireball basically creates a giant flaming ball. It's actually a 20-foot radius.
Yes.
And so, so you do 8d6 fire damage, and it gets a reflex save for half damage. And let's see, it is a 3rd level spell. So I believe that will be. What would that? Does it give a DC on the staff itself?
Give me 1 second. No, it does not.
Would you say it was a Staff of Dark Flame, correct?
Yes. CL 8th, but other than that, I don't see anything.
All right. So we'll kind of make something up then.
Okay.
So it's a level 3 spell. So it's obviously at least 10 plus 3. It's a +1 flaming quarterstaff. So let's go plus 14. So let's see, a DC 14 reflex save.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do this. And no, I rolled a 4, so that's a 7. So go ahead and roll me up 8d6 fire damage.
Superb. 29.
29. Holy shit. And all right, Marmalek.
Yes.
If you will.
Nice.
So he lets the book fall to the grass in front of him, and as you see it falling past his knees, he just cocks the staff, the bone staff, and whips it forward. And as the flames engulf this stout black treant, you see from the bottom up his his feet and legs begin to resemble the shiny black of coal, and then red emits from them, and then he begins to crumble from the bottom down up, and he just falls into a pile of ash. And as the last of the ash filters down through the air, he looks over at Dorian and he goes, "See, that's how you do it." And then he puts his staff down and picks his book back up.
Very nice.
Yep.
All right. So Galen right now is laying on the ground, right?
He's groaning.
Yeah, and at this point now, he is at the feet of a giant thing of coal, basically.
It's like, oh, fuck, that hurts.
All right. I'm actually going to walk over to Galen.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, friend. I got you. I'm going to reach down.
Go ahead. I was say he looks up and he's just like, oh.
His puppy dog eyes.
I'm going to reach down and put my hand on your shoulder. And in similar fashion to what you're accustomed with Agnem, you're actually going to see, coming from like the core of his torso, a bright glow that is kind of like slowly generating through his arm. But rather than it being a burst of light, you're actually going to see and feel the light slowly transition from my hand into you. Ooh. And you're gonna feel this, very comforting warmth, and you're gonna feel, the pain slowly start to dissipate a little bit for 14 points of healing.
All right, brings me back up to 20. It's like, that feels a little better. Oh.
Do you need another one?
Oh, if you could, that'd be great.
Sure. And it's going to happen again for... That'll be 16.
Wow.
Oh, that's so much better. He doesn't get up or anything. He just lays in the mud still. He kind of rolls his shoulder a little bit while he's laying on the ground. He's like, that's... If you want to... Whoever's up next, I'm just going to... I'm going to stay here.
Take your time. I think Marmalek should be taking next watch fairly soon.
That sounds good.
Would you like me to at least drag you over to where it's a little more comfortable, or?
Yeah, this is fine. Don't worry about
it. All right. I'm gonna walk over and just go back to laying down again.
All right. So, Leo, what will you be doing?
Oh, I'll just be kind of moving up onto dry land and just kind of going back to sleep.
All right. So Dorian goes to rest, and Leo as well. Is there any precautions that you guys would like to take?
Nope.
During the rest of the watch.
Dorian's good.
All right.
Yeah, Mom's just gonna actually pay attention.
Mm-hmm. All right. Marm, the rest of your watch goes by fine, and you eventually wake up Dorian, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And does Galen ever make his way back to the hillock to rest, or?
Not until somebody wakes him up. He stays right where he is.
Right. Head propped up on a pound of mud, so he's not drowning.
At some point, he rolls over into the ash. So he gets up in the morning, he's all covered in ash. He's all black.
Nice. Half black in ash, half brown in mud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a mess.
Right. Very nice. All right, and a little bit into I can't really say that the sun rises because there really nothing really changes. It's in in the woods, in the swamp that you're in, it's pretty much, creating this very deep, shadowed area that's pretty much creating nighttime for you. So.
But I can pretty much assume that it's supposed to be like morning.
Yeah, you're right on.
So while keeping watch, once it gets to that last hour, rather than doing like the full, on my knees, like hands clasped, eyes closed, I'm actually gonna take one knee, like keep watching out over the horizon, just like pray, like quietly to myself.
Very nice. All right. So in the quote-unquote morning, I'm guessing that you guys probably deal with a couple of rations to get your energy back up and everything.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And then continue on your way. So it is a few more hours going through, and you seem to have rested kind of close to the edge of this area. So maybe 2 or 3 hours out. So soon enough, you come to the edge, the other edge of this swampland. And when it breaks, finally, it opens up into this slightly grassy area. But again, everything that you see is kind of a muted tone. And you see off in the distance, probably about a mile or so, there's actually these kind of grayish and brown buildings that you can see. And a little bit off by them, this thin strip of black kind of almost sitting on the horizon.
I'm going to keep moving towards it.
All right. So you guys walk for a little bit, and soon enough you come into this fairly paltry area. It looks like just small houses or shacks that have been set up outside of the city, kind of almost an overflow of sorts. And eventually you do see small pathways in even a dirt road that begins to open up. And there is one main road that you can see if you would like to join up on that.
Do I see any people or
Yes.
moving things? Okay.
Yep. There are people moving about. Most of them in kind of soiled, raggy type clothing. Carrying food or tending to a small piece of land or something like that, just around their area.
So, are those real people? Do you think?
There's only one way to find out. I'm not gonna walk up to the closest one.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
And when you so it's actually this small, slightly elderly person, kind of with a hoe raking in the ground, and you startle him, and so he kind of drops the tool, and when he turns around, you actually see that he has this very gaunt face, with these kind of sunken orange eyes and kind of a weird greenish tone to his skin, but he looks solid, at least. He looks rather worse for the wear, but he does look like he is at least not quite spirit. So, and he, yes, what?
My apologies. By any chance, what's the name of this town?
This is Gloomrot. This is the settlements outside.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And I'm just gonna walk away from him.
And he kind of gives you like a bow and begins to kind of, step backwards slightly from you. And at that point, he sees all the rest of you and begins to kind of see you. And he, bows a little deeper and begins to back off as he like reaches down and grabs his hoe and skedaddles.
I say to Dorian, well, he said there was only one way to check. I'm glad he didn't shoot him.
Well,
Get in here.
All right. So, did we hear what the villager said?
Oh yeah.
Leo, while you had his attention, didn't you think it would be a good idea to ask him where the docks are?
We're not even in the town yet. I figure we can just ask somebody in the town where the docks are.
Yeah, we don't really need to. Don't be hasty.
What do you mean, don't be hasty? The whole purpose of us coming here was to find the docks.
Yeah, but I mean, like Leo said, I mean, we're not even in the town yet. Come on now. No worries.
All right, so which way is the town?
That way. And I'm gonna start walking, like in the direction that I point.
Just so we can all be clear, though, which direction did you point?
I went in the direction of the bigger town, like where like the bigger buildings were, because he said that because the farmer said that we were in like the outlying area of Gloomrot. So I'm gonna walk towards what it looks like to be a city.
All right, sounds good.
That way.
Right on. All right.
Before we leave, I'm actually going to speak to the villager and ask him definitively which direction we're heading in, because I really don't trust Leo at this point.
Oh, so you're gonna kind of walk over to the guy as he's trying to get away from you?
I'll call out to him. Like I won't like walk right up to him.
Yeah. And he'll when you call out, he'll stop and turn and look at you and begin to slightly hesitantly walk towards you, head bowed.
Could you please just point us in the actual direction of the city of Gloomrot? We're trying to find the docks.
It's right over there. This is the walls right there.
Arm pops in right behind him.
And is he pointing off in the direction Leo's heading?
Yeah, he's basically he's pointing towards and you can see it that strip of black is kind of beginning to kind of come into view now, and it's definitely a wall or a very long structure of some sort. That larger road that you guys kind of caught up on is moving towards.
All right. Thank you, sir. And I'm gonna go off in that direction.
All right. And he gives you a deep bow when you begin to walk off, and he begins to turn and walk away, though obviously does not make it too far.
Right.
Marmalek?
He's still just standing behind the guy.
Okay. Well, now you're standing in front of the guy since he turned. So.
Oh, he's just gonna stare at him for a second and then pop over next to Dorian.
Wow. And the guy kind of catches his breath and loses it slightly and drops, like, hands on knees, kind of slightly panting. All right. So you guys are going to, catch up to Leo and make your way in that direction then?
Yeah, he never stopped, by the way.
Where did Galen put himself?
After I said that to Dorian, if he didn't say anything, I just kind of started moseying along. So I'm, maybe 20 feet behind Leo, and I guess maybe like 30 feet away from Marm and Dorian.
Nice. All right. So you guys begin to make your way towards Gloomrot then, following the road, and it's probably about a half hour or so. And as you're walking, the wall of Gloomrot is getting progressively closer and thus progressively larger. And eventually you do reach this black outer wall that closes off the city from the outer area. When you kind of begin to reach to it, this particular section actually has spikes, like jagged fangs almost, that jut up from the top, splayed in all different directions. You can see... Oh, go ahead.
I turn over, I catch up to Leo, and I'm like, not a friendly bunch, huh?
Friendly enough.
Yeah. All right, and once you begin to make it now actually close to the wall where details begin to come into view, you can actually see that dangling from several of these spikes are actually impaled corpses, just kind of sitting on top of the wall.
Nice enough, huh?
Yep.
Can I tell what race they are?
No, they're probably about 50 to 60 feet up in the air, and at this point in time, they're so decayed. These ones look like they've been up here for kind of a little bit, so...
Yeah, well... Death comes to us all. Should keep walking.
I look back over my shoulder, and I'm like, what are we going to do with Marm? I mean, he sticks out like a sore thumb. Do you think it's going to matter?
Yeah, maybe he doesn't here.
We've seen plenty of strange things. I'm sure he'll fit right in. We're probably the strangest things around here right now.
Yeah, that dude had green skin or some shit, right? Like, what the hell is that all about?
Yeah. Who knows?
All right, so you guys now make your way up towards the wall, and when you do, you can see that this barrier has the look almost of stretched skin that's actually been stretched tight over this kind of rock-like flesh, and it's decorated with carvings of limbs and faces. However, unlike any normal carvings, though, the limbs twitch and the faces actually mimic the expression of cackles and howls.
Are they moving at all?
Yes. And as you walk towards the wall, the scowls of demons and gargoyles within the wall peer out, and the faces actually turn as you walk, kind of keeping their eye on you. So, as you're kind of walking closer to the wall, you can see all these eyes and all these faces within the wall turning and looking at you.
Oh, that is fucking creepy. Like, this is where she wanted us to go? What is this the kind of shit she's about? Like, this is the person we pledged ourselves to? This is insane.
Hey, you guys are the ones that pledged yourself to a god you met for, 2 minutes?
Well, but how much of a choice did we have?
You had every choice. She gave you that choice.
And even better, completing the motif, up ahead at the end of this road, there is an opening, and in it is an enormous sculpture that resembles a skull with jaws. So its jaws are open, and it gives you just barely a glance beyond the wall.
I'm just going to hear Dorian kind of sigh and be like, oh, why the hell couldn't we have landed in Elysium?
Well, you must have done something pretty bad for us to wind up here.
I'm just going to kind of look at Galen and shake my head.
He smiles because he knows he's being an asshole.
All right. So I'm guessing that you continue towards the gate.
Yeah, and as we're walking, Leo actually keeps kind of glancing over at Dorian and fingering the ring, spinning the ring that he has on his hands. Giggity.
And I'm going to look back over at Hey, Leo, what's the matter? You nervous?
Thoughtful. There's a difference.
Okay, if that's how you think. Fair enough.
And I'm just keep walking towards the gate-ish thing.
All right. So once you make it to just about the gate, you actually see that standing just within the other side is a group of rather stoic-looking guards, all clad in gray and black armor. They have each of them has a pauldron strapped to their right shoulder as well. Although as you begin to get a little bit closer to them, the reek of blood permeates the air. And now you can actually see the detail on them. And you can see that their armor is dented and their clothing is worn and stained, basically hinting at every battle that they have fought. And there are right now 3 guards at this gate. One of them is a short, red-headed dwarf. Another one is a what appears to be probably human with short, cropped black hair. And another one kind of looks like Marmalek almost, but he's red-skinned and he does not have a tail.
For the dwarf, at least, does his armor have any sort of like emblem or symbol on it?
Yeah, they all have. So on the pauldron, there actually is an emblem on those that is a skull with a circle surrounding it.
Would I recognize this symbol?
You do not.
Okay. Well then. Shall we approach?
And Galen just kind of steps up and he says, "Hail and well met. Is there a drinking establishment in your town? We've traveled far and are quite parched." Diplomacy check?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
All right. Oh, that is a 24.
Whoa, very nice. And so the dwarf steps up, and he kind of gives like a sniff in the air, and he looks around at the 4 of you, and he says, "Ugh, yeah, I can tell there's the stench of the Raven Queen all around you."
And I'm actually going to say to him in Dwarven, only 3 of us, and not me.
Galen lifts up his arm and he kind of sniffs and he's like, "It's probably the swamp, dude. Like, we were... Man, the trees walk in the swamp? It's crazy. It hit me when it's, like, I don't say it's like its arm, but it's like his branches and stuff. It was disgusting."
And the tall red guy kind of looks up. He actually has like a very small knife out, and he's picking underneath his fingernail. And he kind of gives a couple of flicks, and he's like, "Oh, wait a minute! You're telling me that you went through the swamps?"
Well, yeah. I mean, we were kind of on the road, and the swamp was there, and I mean, it would have taken forever to go around, and we figured, what the hell? And then trees. I mean, we got attacked by 2 different trees. It was ridiculous.
Yes, that's why nobody actually travels through there. The treants protect that like their own child.
But somebody should post a sign on the road then.
Obviously, the Raven Queen doesn't hand out brains along with their swords.
Well, I didn't get a sword. I got the sweet armor, though.
And he goes back to leaning against the tower and picking at his nails again.
And I'm like, "Oh, no, wait a minute, I did get a sword, didn't I?" And he starts to pull a rapier out, and then he looks at the guy, kind of gives him the hairy eyeball, and he's like, "Nah, this was mine." But so do the
Axel,
tavern then.
what be your business? What be your business in here?
We need to get cleaned up, and God damn, I need a drink.
And we're looking for
Nah.
the docks.
Yeah. Travel on through then.
Which
Sure, if
way
you
to the
keep-
bar?
Sure, if you keep walking, you'll be able to find either of them.
Fair enough. Come on,
Alright.
guys.
Going with you.
Come on.
I'm just
He's
gonna walk through.
walking away.
As Marm walks past the dwarf, once Dory ends up a little bit, he's gonna look at him in dwarf and just say, he may not smell of the the Raven Queen, but he smells of never mind. He's a fucking asshole, and just walk off.
And he'll look at you, and he'll, in Dwarven, say, "Don't ever let your lips flick my language again."
And then he's gonna look at him in dwarf and just say, "Roger, bitch face,"
Oh God.
and walk off.
And at that point, the bigger guy, the human, will kind of put a hand on the arm of the dwarf, who is very obviously starting to reach for a sword, and he whispers a couple of things to him. All right. So when you enter the city, the first thing that you see is there is actually a massive graveyard that stretches to one side of the road, and this actually covers several blocks. And in and around them, you actually see small ramshackle buildings, and there are figures both shambling and actually floating about the streets between. And in this particular area, there's a very strong odor of decay that almost assaults your senses. And you can see that there are a few squads of well-armored undead moving along the streets that border this graveyard area.
Is there anyone out and about there?
Yes, this is a fairly bustling area, although in this particular section, you can see that there are definitely people keeping their distance from at least that side of the roadway. So the streets here are, at least this main one you're on, is fairly wide. You're probably talking about at least 30 feet wide. And they're pretty much people like walking on one half of it.
So, who wants to do the talking on this one?
I'll take care of it.
Galen shrugs.
And I'm just gonna keep walking until I see somebody that looks like they would actually know what was going on around here.
All right. So you kind of walk, look around for a little bit, and you see probably the largest collection of different people that you've ever seen. You see dwarves, halflings, gnomes, humans. You also see some people that look like Harmon. Not Harmon, Marmalek. You see, so you see kind of devilish-looking people. You see people with green skin and brown skin and orange skin and black skin and blue skin, and people with horns and people with tails, and a couple of people with wings, and small people and fat people and tall people and skinny people, and overall just this insanely weird mixture of people. And you can see that in and amongst them, you do also spot very occasionally the same soldier type that was at the gate.
I'm gonna walk up to one of the soldiers that I see and say, "Excuse me, looking for the docks. Could you point me in the right direction?"
Now, why don't you fuck off?
Who's the goddess of this area?
And he just kind of gives you a laugh. The gods have no place here.
Does ale have a place here?
That and gold are about the only things that actually have purchase around this area.
Excellent. Where's the tavern?
And he points and he's like, if you really want to hit a good one, you're going to want to head down to the docks and head to the broken mast.
Huh? See, Leo, we gotta go to the docks. We might as well go to the tavern.
Alright. What direction should we head to hit that?
Yeah, fuck it if I know.
He's like, oh.
You've been most helpful.
Yeah, no problem.
And I'm just gonna walk away from him.
Alright.
Cause fuck him.
Yeah, he was kind of an asshole, huh?
So, it went well, huh? Maybe you should have taken out your bow and arrow or twisted your ring a little bit more. It helps you think.
How about you speak to the next one then? See if you can find where the docks are.
No, this is all you. You wanted to do the talking, feel free.
Hey, no. If you think you can do better, do better.
Oh, whoa, it's a little too dark down here for Paylor. Come on now.
What does Paylor have anything to do with it?
Well, God, as you were just talking about, and look, let me go do some talking.
Well, be my guest.
Marm's going to go off and just start randomly talking to people, but
Okay.
he's just going to be asking them odd questions. Have you ever read anything about planar travel? And just off on random topics, nothing that has to do with finding the docks or anything like that.
And you get a lot of weird looks and a lot of people just ignoring you and some people saying I'm busy, and occasionally somebody will actually like stop and look at you and then just kind of shake their head and walk away. And
And he'll go back to the group and go, I didn't have any luck. Maybe we should just stay here for a while.
Or maybe Dorian would be able to get some information out. He seems to do everything better than the rest of us.
Oh, no. I never claimed I did anything better. I was just making suggestions on how, you might do things better.
Well, lead by example, I was always told.
Alright, I'll give it a shot. Alright. I'm actually going to head back to where that first dwarf was.
okay, at the gate.
Yep.
All right.
I'm going to actually announce myself to him. It's like, may I speak to you?
What do you want?
And I'm actually going to switch over into Dwarven when I talk to him now.
And he's just, oh, go ahead.
My friends and I have traveled for a while. We've come here looking for the docks. Could you do me the kindness of telling me what direction we would head to find them?
And he's going to kind of slit his eyes at you and kind of give you, start to bare his teeth slightly, and you can, just hear almost this low growl begin to emanate from him. And the human, again, will step in between the two of you. And he goes, listen, if you want to get to the docks, just walk south.
Okay.
But I suggest you walk quick, because my friend here hates your fucking guts. And if you keep pushing him, I'm not going to stop him from slamming your head into the ground.
Well, I do appreciate the advice. I don't know what I've done to upset your friend, but I will heed your warning, and I shall leave you in peace.
Yeah,
Thank you
he's a bit of a purist, and he doesn't really appreciate you and your other little nasty friend speaking his language.
Well, I can't speak for the origin of my friend knowing that language, but for the better part of my life, I was both raised and trained by his kind. I spiritually am more dwarven than human.
And you hear from behind the human that's talking to you right now, the dwarf spits out, "Yeah, there's no fucking way that, yeah, another fucking goblin or a fucking dwarf would be teaching you anything, you goddamn mess."
This is the dwarf that said this? I'm actually going to turn to him and start growling back to him in Dwarven. I am Dorian Almax, cleric trained by the Stone Shield clan. Iaden was my teacher and master, and for the better part of my life was my father. Speak ill of me or anything he has taught me, and I will teach you a lesson in the style of which you are most accustomed.
And at that point, the guy that you were talking to kind of puts his hands up in the air, and he's like, "I told you I wouldn't stop him." And he steps aside, and at that point, the dwarf has a hammer out onto his side, and he just lifts it up and begins to swing it towards you. And that's going to luckily only be an 11.
That misses horribly.
So yeah, so his anger and frustration gets the better of him, and he just swings wildly at you.
Okay. I don't want to do this. Okay. I am going to cast a spell on him.
Okay.
And it is going to be Hold Person.
Okay.
It is a will save throw with a DC of 16.
Whoa. All right, and yeah, totally failed that.
He failed it.
Yeah.
All right, so he is paralyzed now for 4 rounds.
Okay. And exactly what does this look like right now?
Well, it's a range spell, so basically I'm just gonna hold my hand out, and there'll just be like a quick flash from my hand, and anyone watching this will see the same color flash emanating around the dwarf right now, and actually almost creating like a small skin-like layer over him, but you can see through it. Like he himself is not glowing. There's something around him holding him in place right now.
Nice.
And so with that, I'm actually just going to lean forward slightly, and I'll do it in common because I don't want to aggravate him anymore. Have a nice day, and start walking away.
And he just continues to yell profanities, "You fucking bastard!" and all that kind of stuff to your back while you walk away.
I'll leave him there.
Yep. Nice.
And with a kind of smug smirk on my face, walking not only to the group, but through and past the group, mostly towards Leo. The docks are to the south, this way, and keep going.
Leo's just gonna kind of shake his head and look back at the dwarf that's swearing his head off, and just kind of shake his head and follow after Dorian.
Nice. All right. So, kind of looking around and getting your bearings slightly, you can see that nearly straight ahead of you, probably to the southwest, this road kind of runs at a diagonal a little bit. So straight ahead of you, though probably around 2 or 3 miles off in the distance, you see that there stands this immense and mighty fortress that kind of stands out amongst all the buildings, rises up above. You can see that to the southeast, there are plumes of smoke and ash that are rising into the sky. And then in the middle of all this, you see that the buildings that you're surrounded by now on either side of the road, now that you kind of walk a few blocks and break away from the graveyard, that all of the buildings are pretty much forced together, almost as if they are built one on top of each other, and even some of them sitting at rather precarious angles in places. The streets are rather filled with potholes and very ill in their not well taken care of, and they almost seem to be weaving their way around the blocks of houses instead of the other way around. As you continue, the road begins to narrow, and shadows begin to envelop almost the entire street that you're on, as they almost seem to move around you. You see that the ages of the buildings and structures vary from the nearly new to the almost ancient, almost as if some look like they were just finished yesterday, and others look like they could fall over at any moment. And just as well too, the colors are just as varied as the of the structures, though, like everything that you've run into in the Shadowfell so far, they are muted, almost as if being put through some type of gray filter.
As we're walking, my eyes are gonna be like darting from shadow to shadow along the sides of the road, just to make sure we don't get jumped.
Mm-hmm. And the streets and everything, while the buildings do rise up above you and even occasionally cross over above, you are most definitely not alone. There are always people walking up and down the streets, some making eye contact with you, some purposely diverting their attention away from you, some just kind of trundling along as if nobody else is around them, as if they are the only ones there. But regardless, everybody seems to keep their distance from you of at least a few feet.
Works for me.
All right. So the area that you're in, the streets do kind of wind and turn, and it looks like roads come to a very quick end, and then take a very sharp turn and in almost a near opposite direction, as if this road was kind of built into a dead end and then a street added onto it later on, so that there's really no form or function at all to this place. It just looks like buildings were plopped down and roads created very haphazardly as it went.
No sign of like docks yet, right?
No, God, no.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
So, how are you planning on making your way through this place?
Single file.
I was going to say, is knowledge local specifically places that I've been, or is it more like a streetwise check where you can kind of get the lay of a place?
Yeah, it can be used to collect knowledge and to kind of gather information almost about a place. So yeah, we could totally let you use it for that.
All right, so I kind of like, check to see the flow of traffic. Obviously, people are sort of steering clear of us, but kind of maybe see if they're all going and to one particular area, because obviously they don't really want to talk to us. I'm just trying to, catch like body language or, just, in conjunction with like a perception to see like, does anything stick out? Does sort of look like, can you maybe smell the salt? I'm thinking like salt water, if we're looking for docks, that kind of thing.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. That's a 2. So I kind of give the hairy eyeball, and I'm looking, and I'm like, no, let me. And he kind of looks back over the other way. I'm gonna fade spin it.
Nice.
Roll it again. That's not too much better. So that's gonna be a 16.
All right. So you kind of look around though, and you're trying to get a lay of the place, and like you said, kind of checking out the people and seeing, if there's patterns or anything like that. And in fact, you actually do manage to pick out a couple of little interesting things as you're making your way around. You see every once in a while a crate coming through, and now you have Galen as the semi-world traveler. You've been both all the way up to the northern edge of Skaldurna back in the old country, as well as all the way down to the southern coast by the pass. So you've seen boatmen and sailors in things, and they all kind of have that same general swagger, same kind of dress or manner about them. It's one of those things that just can't be helped. Very similar to when you see a cop out of uniform, you can still kind of tell that it's a cop. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with sailors. So you pick up a couple of people, and you're like, oh, he could be, and then you actually do see kind of the classic curved dagger that they use to kind of cut and shear rope that he has kind of stuck between his belt, and you see another guy that is carrying a crate, and you see that it's like the obvious markings of being on a ship. And so you get the general sense that at the very least you could probably follow a couple of these guys or see where they're coming from and kind of generally make your way down towards that area.
All right, I'm going to more try to find out where they're coming from, kind of like backtrack it. And, I'll lean over to those guys and say, look, I don't know if you believe me or not, but I get a feel that those guys, and I start pointing at a couple of guys, I think they're sailors. And, I mean, you see that one guy's got the crate, the other guy's got the little red sash with his dagger, and, if you look at his boots, you can kind of tell, blah, blah. I think we should head down this way. If they're bringing stuff up from the docks, we should be able to backtrack our way down there.
But Galen, don't you want to get a drink?
But see, that's the beauty of it. The tavern is at the docks.
Well, I'm sure
two birds with one stone.
But aren't there less stinky places to get a drink? I mean, I assume the docks are smelly.
Well, the dwarf. And a dwarf knows how to drink, and he said the best place was the broken mast, and he said that was down at the docks. That's our destination, gentlemen.
Well, if you're sure, I have no problem following that.
Excellent. And with a little spring in his step, he heads off in the direction that he thinks that we should be going.
Very nice. All right. So you begin to pick up on a couple of these people and follow through the roads, and as you travel for probably about another half hour or so through these twisting, sometimes ending streets, you can see that the streets slowly begin to become more crowded until eventually you can see that the area that you are in, the buildings begin to change. And the structures here sit much lower than kind of the towering ones that you were in before, though that seems to only increase their cramped nature. And you see that the population here is, if at all possible, even more diverse than what you were seeing before. And you hear bellows and howls and conversations in way too many languages to actually keep track of. as the sounds just echo and bounce and kind of assault your ears almost. It's, so just loud and cacophonous in this area. And behind all of this, you can hear the sloshing of water in the distance.
Galen starts to get giddy. He picks up his pace a little bit. He's like, "Come on, guys, we're almost there. We're almost there. Do you hear the water? I mean, you see this is like warehouses and stuff. This is, I'm telling you, we're good. We're almost there."
Let's continue on then.
So we do.
All right. Just trying to find one thing really quickly. So yeah, you guys begin to, like I said, make your way through the streets and everything, and you find, a couple of places that kind of, catch your eye a little bit, but they don't seem to be, the one destination that you're looking for. And you see kind of some, more fancy looking buildings, maybe in like a deep red tone, and some with this kind of gothic filigree about it. However, kind of finally, as you're going through, you think you found what the guard has directed you towards. And you see this building that actually kind of looks like it's from the aftermath of a multi-ship collision. And you see splintered masts that hold up walls of very mismatched timbers of different makes and sizes. And you actually see that there's an ancient keel faintly evident through kind of this very haphazardly put together architecture. And you see that there are thousands of parchment pages that actually cover every available inch of the lower wall outside.
So as we're going through and we get to the nicer places, I'm like, nope, not this one. Nope, not this one. And then when we see that, I'm like, this has got to be the place. And Marm, look, there's stuff for you to read. And he just almost starts running, like he's practically running for the front door.
Marm just kind of, he's like, I guess, and he just walks and starts reading, see what's there.
All right, and you pick up on several languages, a handful that you don't even know, some that look kind of familiar, and they basically stretch the breadth of every language that Marmalek knows. And the vast majority of them are actually job offerings. And, they're, come aboard the ship, and, sailors wanted, and deckhands needed, and all this kind of stuff. As well as notices for, missing people and has been gone at sea for months and all this kind of stuff. There are also messages that you see that make absolutely no sense to you, that look like, very obvious that you can read the language, it's just that the letters don't actually form real words.
Interesting, okay.
And you can actually see, too, now that once you kind of turn the corner and finally make it to this building, that it's now the road, the street opens up and to this rather wide expanse. And on your right side is this building, in and amongst a line of other buildings. However, to your left, you see the ocean. And within it is just several dozen of these just almost seemingly random docks of very uneven woods and varying lengths and directions and angles and everything. And along these docked are an innumerable amount of vessels, ranging in size, in age, and you actually do see some that look exceptionally pristine with these beautiful masts and these billowing sails, to some that look like they actually have just recently been brought up from the bottom of the ocean.
Huh. He's just gonna turn and follow the others into or up to the bar. Not gonna address it at all.
All right. So you guys are going to walk into the bar then?
Galen's already in the bar.
How about the rest of you?
I'm actually going to head toward the docks.
Okay.
I'm so upset at myself for this, but I'm also heading towards the docks.
All right. So then at this point we have Leo and Dorian going to the docks, and Marmalek and Galen going into the broken mast. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, very nice. And why don't we go ahead and call it there?
Cool.
Oh. I was right about to see if Dorian can swim better than Agnum.
Yeah, you shot better in life than you do in death.
Whatever. It'd be interesting.
Good job, guys.
Man.
It's fun.
Yeah. Real quick, 1600 XP.
Jesus.
Wow.
You killed one and scared off another, and they were CR8s. So good job.
Wow.
Nice.
Although I did not want to continue to bombard you with treants.
Now I kind of wish we had killed that other one. I'm pretty damn close to leveling.
When I kept nudging and being like, anybody want to take a precaution? And you were like, nope.
Nope. Let the shit come.
One more probably would have killed Galen.
Yeah. I was down to 6. I got smushed.
That's what two slam attacks at 2d6 plus 13 can do for you. So.
Jesus.
Yep.
You said 1600, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I have a question for mechanics.
Yes.
Do you regain hit points on sleep? I have so many systems in my head right now, I'm not sure.
Gain, what the fuck is Pathfinder? 1 hit point per level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
1 hit point per level.
Oh, that brings me back up to 40, so I'm
Hey, there you go.
between that and Agnum. And then, did we get a full rest, so I only used my 1 moment of chance for today then?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've been reading so much of the 5th edition rules that last time I did rest, I did a one-off session with Trevor and Al. Al helped out on a couple NPCs for me, and but I was doing a session with Trevor, and he's like, "What's rest again?" And I'm like, it's 1 hit die per level, so do that." So I ended up letting him heal like 30 hit points or something.
Oh, jeez.
Whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah.
See, Galen's going to be surprised when he gets in the bar and orders and realizes he has no money.
Right.
Yeah, I was actually almost tempted to go into the bar just to see that happen. Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be able to work something out.
I My friend has a ring. Not bad.
Yeah, my ring's not worth very much.
Maybe to you.
Well, I don't know. Judging by what the response was at the door, I don't think anybody else either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I asked, like, what, like, god or goddess kind of is in control, is, like, kind of worshipped at this city.
Mm.
But apparently those walls aren't built in effigy to the Raven Queen.
No. Remember, the Raven Queen likes balance. Actually, you guys don't really know.
No,
I really don't know much.
She kind of explained slightly to you. But, yeah, the Raven Queen likes balance.
they're worshiping a deity they talk to for 5 minutes.
That's a very good point. They're not even necessarily worshiping.
Yeah,
They
I'm
just
just kind
promised
of...
their eternal afterlife soul to her. That's
Oh,
all.
gee, is that all?
We're subcontracted.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in my defense, I have talked to the Raven Queen longer than I've talked to Paylor.
Ooh.
Okay, and what? And since speaking to her, how many times have you talked to her, and what has she actually done for you?
She gave me a bow and weapons.
Since then,
It's more than Paylor ever gave him.
I don't know. Pelor's healing powers saved his ass numerous times.
That's a good point.
And the weapons that she gave me killed things before they could hurt me.
Oof.
I still want to beta test fight you.
She gave Marm that cool. She gave Marm a raven.
What is that? Where is that raven anyway? Did
On
we
his shoulder.
eat it?
It's flying.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I wasn't there for that conversation.
What conversation?
We
I don't know
found
what
out
you're talking about.
found out the fate of Kevon and Faltu's unnamed owl.
Did she not name it?
No, she never named it. It's
Shocking.
just an owl.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Yep. Yeah. So, do you remember when you guys were at the temple with the goblins after you killed all the monks?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you remember when the goblins cooked you guys breakfast in the morning
Oh, of course.
and they offered you chicken and not chicken? Yeah, Kevon was the not chicken. So.
It's even funnier because we hadn't seen Kevon in like 6 weeks before that, so.
Oh no, he was kind of still around, but nobody had actually, like, directly done anything with him. And so it was like one of those things where he was just kind of in the background tagging along. So I was like, at that point, might as well get rid of him. And nobody noticed either. So that says even more to it. Oh. Alright, but yeah, sorry, I had to cut it just a little short. I have an insanely early morning tomorrow. So, we have to go into Boston at 8 o'clock.
Oof.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
Nope. So,
And I actually have to work tomorrow for a change. Well, not for a change, but for a change after we play.
alright, there you go. Alright, well, I am going to take off